The Demon of Mercy, written and performed by Andrew Wagstaff. Chapter 1. As the escort saucer slowly descended to the surface, Commander Navarre of Slave Camp 117 waited on the landing field. He was joined by his sub-commander Darren and Logistics and Security Officer Triples. The ship came to a rest and sat for a few moments, allowing Navarre to collect his thoughts. He had no idea who was on board the ship. The ramp of the saucer lowered, and two Daleks Navarre had never seen before exited. They were standard travel machines and were coloured in a dark grey livery with purple domes and accents, but each supported a marking shaped like a crescent moon on the right side of their domes. Navarre heard the sound of footsteps. A humanoid descended the ramp. Navarre had never seen anything like this creature. Humanoid in shape, but with two large wings on his back and a tail. His skin was similar to that of a reptile. He had long flowing red hair, and a blade-like horn protruded from the top of his forehead and swept back across the top of his head. He reached the bottom of the ramp and strode towards Navarre, flanked by the two Daleks who exited before him. Navarre and his aides raised their guns. "Commander Navarre, I am Ryuks, Slave Relations Officer. By order of the Emperor, I am to take over slave operation management and—" Ryuks stopped mid-sentence. He noticed the quivering gun sticks. His Daleks moved to cover him. Ryuk's hand hovered over his holstered gun. "Commander, is there a problem?" Ryuk asked. Navarre was half in a state of shock and outrage that this thing could claim to be a part of the Empire.
Daleks do not employ humanoids in their ranks. This deception is a weak one. You will surrender or be exterminated.
Ryuk sighed. "I was created by the Emperor. You should have had a confirmation order by now from Skaro."
You claim to be a creation of the Emperor?
Navarre asked, hoping to stall while the security Daleks arrived. "Project Eden was created by the Emperor. I am the second of two hybrids, part human, part Dalek." Navarre looked Ryuk up and down. There was nothing Dalek about this creature.
Why would the Daleks need a creature such as you?
Before Ryuk could answer, Darren moved back to Navarre's side.
Confirmation order received. Ryuk, experimental prototype 02, to be given command of all slave management and operations. Commander Navarre to retain control of all Dalek forces, minus the 2 units accompanying Ryuk, by order of the Emperor.
Navarre's eyes shot back to Ryuk and his gun lowered.
If we had been notified of your transfer here before you arrived, this conflict could have been avoided.
Navarre was almost shaking. This creature was a product of the Empire, and even worse, a product of the Emperor, which meant he was paying very close attention to him. But Ryuk smiled. "You are following procedure, Commander. The Emperor will be informed. Now, I will start by inspecting the records of your operation here. Please show me to your command center." Navarre spun around and led the way back to the base. He had been tested by the Emperor, and had passed. The group entered the command center. Navarre issued a general declaration over the command net concerning Ryuk and his status, as on the way to the command center he was challenged several times by Daleks, the last almost leading to a firefight. The command center was a large hexagonal room with doorways at the 4 compass points. Ryuk found a vacant terminal and placed his hands on the controls.
"You will not be able to access our database. Access is granted by connecting to the system. The connections are built into our travel machines."
Ryuk looked at the Dalek who had followed him from his terminal over to the vacant one. His electro tag read as the slave manager aide. Not to worry. Ryuk took a data jack from a pouch on his belt and inserted it into the receiver. The system clicked and whirred for a moment, then permitted Ryuk access to the database. The screen above began to show statistics and charts concerning slave activities. Ryuk frowned at the information. "This states that you only feed the slaves every other day, and you make them work over 8 hours a day?" The Dalek moved closer.
"That is correct. 8 hours is the minimal work period for the slaves before fatigue affects them to the point of collapse."
Ryuk furiously tapped the controls, bringing up more information, then let out a heavy sigh. "From this moment on, all slave operations are suspended." All eyes were on Ryuk. Commander Navarre moved toward him from his command podium.
Suspending operations will cause production to fall behind schedule.
Ryuk faced the commander and looked him straight in the eye. All slave operations will cease until my team have made a full inspection of the slave encampment and slaves' condition and health. The commander was speechless. The slave manager aide spoke up in his place.
That is a decision to be made by the Slave Operations Commander. You have the right to submit a request, but he does not.
The slave commander aide moved back as he saw Ryuk coming towards him. Read my electro tag. I am the Slave Operations Commander now. All actions regarding the movement, treatment, and management of the slaves are to be brought to me. No action is to be taken without consulting me. That is the order of the Emperor. Before Ryuk got an answer, there was a chiming noise coming from one of the consoles. The Daleks at the terminal answered, then turned back to Commander Navarre.
Communications from slave encampment. There is a riot in progress. They are requesting instructions and reinforcements.
Commander Navarre looked at Ryuk.
You have full authority. Let us see what the Emperor sees in you.
Ryuk walked towards the exit. Instruct the sentries to hold their fire. I will deal with this.